the need for academic validation. This topic is pretty close to my heart. All the struggles and problems I went through while facing a concept that might seem quite unnecessary to most, valuable to the rest. Starting with a few observations and triggers which might be faced while going through this phase. Always needing good grades, but having fruitless efforts or trying to have the will to prove to someone or to even yourself. Some of the reasons why you might get this angst of learning or the need for always getting good grades, high scores, might be a few of these reasons in my perspective or my opinion. Overachieving siblings. I don't have any siblings myself, but I've had many friends who didn't directly explain this, but always used to share how apparently their sibling was an Olympic medalist and the fact that their parents used to always compare them. I felt genuine sympathy for them. However, deep down, I was pretty glad this didn't happen to me. I probably couldn't have handled the constant comparison or if my sibling was always rubbing their success in my face, specifically pinpointing to my jealousy and envy. Scholar like friend circle or classmates. In one of my previous schools, there was a stereotypical group of smart kids and the apparent dumb kids labeled by society. Almost majority of my class were the smart kids. Now, over there, people used to consider a kid smart by the amount of grades he or she used to get. So it was basically like there were little lion cubs and there was just a puppeteer who was pitting them against each other. I don't know if that analogy even makes any sense, but you know what I mean, right? The apparent dumb kids, and yes, those are quotation marks in my voice, either used to be kids who couldn't read, write, or study well and were least bothered by academics or good grades. They just needed to apply themselves. Or a special category which always has caught my eye, and especially because I am in one of that category, is the burnt out stars who used most of their shine and shimmer and wanted to regain it back. I also had a few overly egoistical friends in my big bodacious friend group who cared too much about other people's grades than their own. I admit they got really good grades and they used to work hard for it. But I always thought, why couldn't it be me? Even if I did apply myself, would it be helpful? They used to always consider me as a smart, shy kid, often because I used to lie about my grades. Yeah, always telling that, yeah, I got pretty good grades because of the insecurity and judgment to the point I even felt I might lose friends and get bullied for it. Parents who have been academically strong. It's like saying your parent is like a celebrity because often at times if your parent is in a reputable profession or is really smart in their academic years, then other people consider you to be so too and to follow in their footsteps, right? My mom was a top student in her academic years and she presumed that I would be one too. But after I made it pretty clear that I wasn't quite interested and was often struggling with academics, she accepted it wholeheartedly and guided me accordingly. I'm pretty grateful because the thing is, not everybody gets that privilege. Pressure. There's a lot of peer pressure just to get a high score, as in a number defines whether you will be successful or not. Or even a letter, depending on what grading system it is. Friends and peers alike used to always judge me. I had never gotten pressure by my parents, however, I always wondered, were there any silent expectations? And it wasn't even necessary for my parents to put pressure because I put enough pressure for myself. Knowing that there are other children who face extreme pressure and trauma just to get good grades and excel in their academics is just saddening. Now, I struggled and still struggle with getting good grades. However, I have noticed so much more improvement in myself after I stopped putting more pressure on myself. Sorry. I can change how other people's outlook on bad grades and failing is. However, I can change it for myself and hopefully help you too. There can also be a positive energy in getting good grades and yearning academic validation. This is just part one. So much more to speak about, yet such less time. A few tips and more concepts will be spoken about this in the coming episodes, so tune in for more. Now, I hope you got a sense of relief or maybe even a sense of belonging when you hear someone speak about this topic. Share your comments about your experiences, how you got through, and more. Thanks for watching and tune in for part 2.